Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a long minute, a long minute, but we've been having an exciting summer, so hopefully you have too. uh, I don't even know what to think of this, but we've had a lot going on. Hopefully you have too, so hopefully you know the drill. You know how this works on this channel. We're going to talk about current affairs, state of affairs, the world full of shit that it is. But I'd like to go back to the well on one of my first videos I did on this channel when I had only 2 subscribers, and it got several hundred views, like 400 or 500 views in a very short time. And it was about the Shenanigans bar over in the Quad Cities. And it's been almost a year now. And here we are going right back to the same fucking thing I said then. That if you don't deal with the situation, closing a bar, punishing a business owner, isn't going to change the fact that the usual suspects are just going to move to a different place. Well, now there's a place in the Quads called the District. Now, we've been down there before, and we've lived around here quite some time, so we spent a few anniversaries down there. Our anniversary's on Halloween. We celebrated on Halloween because it's right there at Halloween. So we've been over to the District before, and it's just a collection of bars. Well, exactly what happens was what I said was going to happen. If you're not going to address the people and their behavior, it's going to continue. Well, obviously, we have a whole fucking summer of examples of that shit. And it's almost mind-numbing that you have to keep saying the same thing over and over and over again about that certain demographic, the usual suspects. And we wake up today to find out there's 2 LA County sheriffs that were targeted for execution by a usual suspect, by the usual activist group. The Black Lane morons. But it is what it is until we get enough. I keep asking the same question. Are you awake yet? I've been saying that now about 15 years. I keep asking people, you awake yet? No, I've been awake to this problem for a long time. And I recently had a discussion with a very good friend of mine and others that think like him, that got really involved with what was that bullshit that was years ago when Obama was doing health care? The fuck were those retards? Oh, they were the righties. They were out there fucking chanting and hollering and screaming. But he was one of those fucking guys. And I was like, oh, so you're going to get off your feet and you're going to go out there, you're going to travel around to go to these protests. Are we going to discuss the usual suspects' crimes? And I got pretty much the same fucking answer for all of them. We worked too hard to get here, and we got too much to lose. Well, I ask all these years later, how's that fucking working out for you? Because you didn't want to get off your fucking ass and get on your feet for this cause. But you're willing to go out there and fucking wave your banners and your flags and, cry about fucking Obamacare. But we got this place over in the district where a couple weeks ago we had 1 dead, 5 wounded by the usual suspect. Now they want to put up high fences and metal detectors, and, you know, they were having their big powwows and discussion while the usual suspects and that certain demographic and all their lame moron fucking activists out there screaming and hollering about how that's, stereotypical. You're you're punishing those, and it just mind-boggles. And the Quad Cities is just a fucking turned into a shithole. We went from hardly any crime to now it's just fucking every day. 1, 2, 3 shootings a day, multiples on the weekends, robberies, beatings. And they keep asking the same question. Are you awake yet? And of course the news, they report on it for a minute. And then it goes away. Unless the usual suspects decide that they want to chime in and go, it isn't fair. So where does this end? Where are we going? Keep saying it all the time. We got a guy on this channel. I know him. We've met. I wonder how he wants to talk about how Peoria's turned into a shill. Peoria, Illinois, where they got some traction on, I guess, mostly social media. It got a blip on the national scene about 2 young white male children robbed by 2 usual suspect teens with a gun, a lemonade stand. Well, that was Peoria, Illinois. And since then, there's drive-bys, drive-ups, shootouts going down the street, running across fences, slamming into pools. I mean, it's just a fucking shit show. We all know about Chicago. Chicago is just a fucking turd that needs to be flushed. Rockford ain't no fucking better. Rockford is a fucking dumpster fire. We can do fucking multiple stories on fucking Rockford. Dubuque, Iowa. Clinton. Quad Cities. Galesburg. Burlington, Iowa. I mean, now Bloomington, Illinois. I mean, it's just all around us. We're encompassed by it. Fucking DeKalb. They're having shootouts now, about 1 every fucking day. Multiple stabbings. And I keep wondering, I keep asking the same question. Are you awake yet? You are unwilling to get into these discussions. You didn't want to fight this fight. And for years and years, you called us racist and Nazis and bigots and all the isms and all the phobes. For years and years, just for discussing, this is what I see. It's an observable truth. I have eyes and ears. It's right there in front of you. If you choose to turn a fucking blind eye to it, well, that's on you, man. I'm just telling you this is happening. But for that, I got lambasted. And now here we are in current year. And all those same fucking people are standing there in disbelief. Sitting there in disbelief. Ask them, so what do you got to say about this? Well, I do know. But I keep asking everybody, and asking you and all you out there, are you awake yet? Because apparently you haven't had enough. And I don't blame anybody for not going out there and sticking their fucking neck out, because I told you this. I told you this during the fucking jogging incident in fucking Georgia. That those people, the McMichaels, went out there to protect their neighborhood by a neighbor who asked them to look out for their property. And after having their property stolen, they were on high alert. And of course, the usual suspect, actually the suspect, kind of like Colonel Kurtz. You think they got the right one? That's going to change how it works. And they've been doing this for years. I talked about this years ago about the lady down in Florida who shot the home intruder. And they all came out in front of her house going, she had no right to do that. How's he supposed to get his money for college? And I kept telling her, I'm like, and now it begins. They're getting to where they're trying to get it. You cannot defend yourself or others. Oh, it's just an incident. Then it happened again. Guy goes out and says, hey, I have a medical thing, and my issue is I don't like people parking in fucking handicapped parking spaces. And of course, the usual fucking suspects yell, scream, gripe, and complain because somebody pointed out, said, hey, you're doing something wrong here. You're parked in a fucking handy. Well, the fucking usual suspect, that demographic, calls on the phone, get her man out of the fucking convenience store to come assault him. He fucking puts a fucking leaky hole in him. And, of course, that's wrong. Not wrong that, the usual suspect puts his hands on him, assaults him. No, that's not wrong. It was wrong for you to defend yourself. And it begins. Now, with all this being ramped up for the last 4 or 5 months, everybody's, it's 3 months. No, it's been 4 or 5 months. The great Michaels goes back a good month and a half before that. That they're getting you conditioned that you cannot protect yourself. And since that, in the last 3 months, we've had the St. Louis couple, we had the couple in Michigan, and now we got the kid in Wisconsin. So I don't blame anybody for not sticking their neck out, because that's been my advice. And I said it on a video a little over 3 months ago. It's been a while since we've been here to discuss this. We've been busy ourselves doing some gun training. I'm just an amateur gun guy, and I don't charge people to help them. And people been taking advantage of that, and I have no problem with that. I don't charge for helping anybody because I'm confident in what I know, what I have been trained myself, and then do on my own to keep up with what I need to keep up with. So I have no problem, I just require people to buy a little bit of ammunition and throw in a little bit for gas if I got to travel any distance. But we were doing really good with that for until the last 3 or so weeks, and fucking ammunition is now scarce. We can still find it. We're not as bad as other communities. We got guns on the shelf, and we got some ammunition. You got to seek it out, but their 223 is gone. You're not finding any of that. Or at least sparingly. I find it once a month maybe. But we're still, we're finding it, but it's hit and miss. But in trying to help people, draw from, get their concealment up, and a lot of these guys, they're a little late to the game. So getting your FOID card and getting your conceal card is taking months. Some of these guys still haven't got their stuff. So, but training is something that you need, especially as a new gun owner. You gotta, and hopefully you've got people out there that are willing to help you, that have experience, because going to get gun training going to a reputable school is fucking expensive. Even the guys around here are starting to cut their rates in half, but still, A lot of these so-called professional gun trainers, who can afford that shit? I've done it a couple times, and I gotta say, it's half knowledge and half a fucking joke. But that's just my personal experience with them. Every time I show up someplace, they just fucking take first look at me, and then it's all whatever their fucking impressions are. But in all this time, I keep telling everybody, don't stick your fucking neck out. I said it there months ago on that video when we were talking about this with the fucking jogger. This is a prime example of you stick your fucking neck out and they're going to fucking chop your head off. And everybody come here to whine and cry at me. And then fucking, just like clockwork, a month and a half later, this shit kicks off. All of a sudden, everybody that stuck their fucking neck out is getting their fucking heads cut off. Do you understand now? I'm not Nostradamus. I could just read the fucking tea leaves, man. It's not rocket science. You can see what they're saying and how far they're going. Give them an inch, they'll take a fucking mile. And that's just the way it is. So, I've been advising everybody to just lay low. I don't care what you see. Well, you could be the best person in the world, and your heart could tell you, you need to jump into that fight. Help those people, protect them. You might want to take a good look around. Everybody that has paid the price. So my advice is still the same. Stay out of it. Just stay the fuck away from it. Stay out of it. We don't go to the quads anymore. We don't go to Rockford anymore. We don't go anywhere where we know the fucking problem is. Because we just don't want to get involved. So all the fun that we were having, we keep it very, very local. Very local. We go only to local places. And even it's starting to come here. We've got major drug busts. We've had a murder over the 4th of July. We're having drive-by. It's nobody's immune, big or small. Doesn't matter how big your city is or how small your town is. You're starting to see it infiltrate everywhere. And I got a lot of guys that in my industry that drive around. I've known them for years. I talk to them, and they're all saying the same thing. The fucking world is shit out there. Between the corona crud, which I'll get into that too for those guys wondering, well, did you change your opinion on it? No, I still wish the fucking Wu flu was fucking deadly. I still wish, wake up every day and go, come on, corona crud, kill billions. Because nothing like a disaster will put fucking people in a tailspin and all of a sudden change their priorities. This shit ain't changing nothing. Well, it is changing something. It's changing the dividing lines. Whatever dividing line there was, whatever it was a crack, it's now becoming a fissure. It's widening and widening day by day. Like I said, you got 2 fucking cops targeted for execution. We could sit here and do this shit all day long. Whose side is who on? Oh, well, the military's with us. Are they? We just had a fucking Marine in dress blues tape I can't breathe across his fucking mouth, get on his fucking knees, roll onto his fucking belly, and put his hands behind his fucking back in solidarity. We had National Guardsmen taking fucking knees and raising their fists. We had sheriffs and local police all on their fucking knees. You can't tell who's friend or foe anymore. You really can't. The dividing lines are being drawn, and you have to take them individually. Everybody is suspect. And I do mean everybody is suspect. When I start laying stuff out like this, it makes some people angry. Some people don't understand. But you just go back and take a look at it. But just going back to that fucking old story and watching people and telling people about that, and others that know that I talked about it, they're like, damn, dude, you fucking called that one. I'm like, it's inevitable. You can't, all you're doing is changing from one lane to another. It's the same fucking vehicle. It's the same people in the vehicle. They just can't go over here anymore. They went over there. And it's crazy, man. I don't even know what to say anymore. Everybody's like, well, where you at? What are you doing? Well, I'm busy doing things I need to get done, things I want to do, but I don't know what's to be said anymore. What needs to be said. Because think about it. Everybody has said everything that needs to be said to a point. Oh, won't you talk about the 5-year-old Cannon that got shot in the face? And it ain't the first time, man. Anybody remember the story of the little baby in the stroller? Mama got robbed, and because he didn't get exactly what he wanted and thought he was being disrespected, he shot the baby, a toddler, in the face while in a stroller. I think that was in Ohio years ago. Exact same thing, exact same demographics, in the exact same manner. Nothing has fucking changed. So talking about one, I talked about that. I told people about that. And then all of a sudden, it happens again. How many more times does it have to happen before you say enough is enough? Are you awake yet? 24-year-old mother shot in the fucking head from behind, as they always do, laying in wait in ambush because they lost the fucking argument. What story do you want to do? Y'all know it. I'm fourth, fifth, 10,000th party telling the same fucking tale. Look at all the people that's been purged from this platform. You know, fucking, and one of them makes you just sit there and go, wow. And that's because he had a large audience and he was pretty well level-headed. You know, and a fucking Canadian at that. Had no fucking stake in American politics. Or what goes on in America. What more needs to be said? If we're not going to rise up in one voice, come together, make a strategy, make a picket line, and fucking get to work, then all we're doing is standing around fucking poking holes in the air with our fucking finger. No, I get it. Everybody needs to lend a voice to it because, you know, hell, this is a small audience, but even with what small audience that's here, like I said, when I did that story about Shenanigans Bar, I had 2 subscribers and over 500 fucking views in just a few days. And they did, and even compelled the news, the local news, to go back out and do another story on exactly what I was saying, which was interesting. And it's like, oh, okay, do I have power and influence? No. No, but I thought it was interesting. I thought it was funny. Other people laughed at it. They're like, wow, I can't believe they had to address that. I'm like, eh. You know, if you're making sense, if it's logical, if it's straightforward, which is everything, it's always going to be here, straightforward. You force people to answer. Here's the question. And the question is so compelling that you're forced to answer. So, when are we going to start asking questions of them and forcing them to answer? But it does get tiring. It is exhausting dealing with these people. And you know what I mean when I say these people. You know, if this is the new normal, then accept it. But I find other things compelling, like, I've said it before. I have a flower child. I married a flower child. I have a flower child for a wife, and she has a warmonger for a husband. And in my youth, I was a fucking terror. An absolute fucking terror. And the only thing that calmed that was having that fucking flower child wisping around, doing her shit, and you just sit there, you just start laughing, you're like, okay, you got me. But when you have an absolute flower child, a pacifist in all the sense of the meaning, and if anybody on here that truly knows this and knows this for years, and I think I got a couple of subscribers that are lifelong friends, they can tell you in the comments, that fucking woman wouldn't hurt a fly. And I'm serious. Capture them and take them outside because she didn't want to fucking kill them. It was the wildest thing. They've seen it. They sit there and look at me. I'm like, don't engage, man. Just let her do her thing. It's who she is. You know. But when she's finally coming around and going, okay, you can't ignore this, that says a lot. that says a lot. And the more vocal she's getting, is the more quiet I'm becoming. I think that's probably scaring her most. Because at this point, we're getting beyond words. I don't think a lot of people understand what that actually means. When you push somebody beyond words. And that's about, man, I don't know what else. What else do we say? What else do we talk about? Do we stand here and continue to beat this fucking dead horse? We all know what the fucking problem is. We know what's going on. We see it. We hear it. We're forced now, even in people I know that never wanted to be in any part of this, are now being forced to speak on it. And I find that telling. I got fucking people now that have been calling me names for years that are now coming to me because they are being called names they've never been called before, saying that they're part of the problem when they never stuck their head up for anything, spoke a fucking word one way or the other, are now being forced into the fray, and they don't know how to handle it. Some of them are fucking running past me at 100 miles an hour. I'm having to reach out and grab them going, where the fuck you going, man? Oh, I don't know why they're treating me like this. I've never done anything to anybody. I'm like, you need to fucking stop right here. You think I'm the person you've been calling this for fucking years? And you want to run past me? You keep fucking running that way? You're going to run into those people that you kept calling me. You want to see the fucking far-right extremist? And I butted heads with these fucking dudes. They always think I'm on their fucking side, man. It's like, oh, you're one of us. No, not really. Well, we are paralleling each other, but not to that extreme. And you fucking guys keep running fucking that far that way, you're going to run into those guys. And those fucking guys will fucking pour honey potion into your fucking ears telling you, hey, come on over here, be one of us. You know, we'll protect you. You could be one of. We'll help you. We'll get you into the. No, stay the fuck away from those people, man. Because just like the other side, you're nothing more than a tool, a useless, useful idiot, a tool, and they will fucking point you to the front. You need to be fucking aware of where you fucking people are going. But it's mind-boggling to me is how many people are like, man, you going to talk about this? No, I've talked about this. I've talked about these kinds of stories. I talked about a 16-year-old girl who had her fucking door kicked in and shot in the fucking head. Way before any of this shit kicked off. Oh, you're just a big fat redneck racist. Oh, really? What about the story I'm talking about? Yeah, well, only racists talk about that. Wow. Okay. And here we are, the same fucking story, just different names. Different names. It's exhausting. So when people ask where I've been, what I've been doing, I've been gearing up. And I geared up for the Corona crud. And by the way, if anybody knows any Chinese consulate or anybody in the CCP or any of that shit, point them toward this video because I want them to hear this part. Hey, you fucking slant-eyed fucking chinks. If you're just your fucking viruses like most of your fucking products. It looks good on the fucking packaging, man, but the fucking product is shit. You promised me death and fucking mayhem. Horror. And what I got was a fucking cold. Next time you build something, could you please make it a little bit more motherfucking deadly? I'm not going to be sad. Man, if you want to drill a fucking hole to the center of the earth and put the earth ender in the fucking tube of it and put a button on it that says, anybody willing to fucking get it done, push this, fucking let me know when it's done, man. Well, I keep saying it. This fucking world needs a good fucking enema. It needs to be flipped upside fucking down, shook, and set on fucking fire. Because it's the only way we come together. When enough people have died, when enough people are dying, all of a sudden, it changes the mindset. It puts things into perspective. And I was like, here we go, man. We're finally going to get some good old just dessert. And it's finally going to give us what we need. It's going to set the fucking world on fire. And in that horror, we're going to come together. That's how it always works. Look at any major war, the fucking Black Plague. You look at any major fucking thing that's ever happened. It sucks while it's happening. But as it's happening, people start to figure it out. They come together. For the common good. This ain't the common good, folks. Whatever this is. This fucking bullshit America is dealing with ain't the fucking common good. Well, I have no fucking clue where we go. I don't know how much more we can talk on it, what it looks like, what it doesn't look like. But whatever it is, this ain't it. Well, I'd like to do some firearms reviews. We got some new ones since last time we talked. I did a couple of them there before all this bullshit took off, before the fucking pandemic letdown. Fucking, and I was geared up for it too. I went out, got supplies. I was good for at least a year and a half, which we're still got. It still could go sideways. For all those in northern Illinois, what was it, like a month ago, we had a bad storm come through here. Knocked our electric pole down, ripped the fucking lines out of the house. I got a generator. My generator ran for 5 days. So, I know my generator runs good. Yeah. I hope you guys are preparing. Because we still got what? 7 weeks before fucking November. So we're not even at the finish line yet. We still have 7 more weeks. And I think something's funny when everybody goes, "Oh, it's finally calmed down." I'm like, it ain't calmed down. It just went underground. At some point, they realized that all this bullshit was fucking hurting them so bad that they went underground. They're now going somewhat quiet. They're not completely silent, but the bulk of it, all they did was go underground, man. They're like, oh, if we don't stop, it's hurting this other side. So put that into fucking perspective. So all those people out there going, oh, it's finally died down. Oh, oh, it's because the feds went after these people or that people. No, they just went underground. The powers that be, the money, the handlers, they went underground. They may come back if, they feel a need. But I bet you it goes somewhat silent for the next 7 weeks. Think about it. What have you heard? Right now, it's just hit and run crime. Now it's all straight up targeted. It's not mass. Now it's just targeting. Small targeting. And that will continue until November. After November, it's gonna get going again. Especially if they don't get their way. So, again, I don't know how much more to just sit here and go and the same old fucking story. Same old fucking story. Same old fucking story. It gets old. It gets redundant. And it's exhausting. But that's pretty much, besides gear and preparations and stuff like that, is about all I got left to really talk about. I'm sure we could talk about individual stuff if it's merits or warrants. But I just don't have it anymore. And that ain't true and that ain't fair. It's not that I don't have it anymore. It's just we're just going to talk it to death. But I still have stories I want to do that are still up on the board. By the way, my lovely bride came up with a suggestion, and her handy craftiness, and I was like, oh, hey, she hung me up a curtain because she's like, oh, it'd be more presentable. Whatever that means, I don't know. But it was cool. She did pretty good with it. That's pretty cool. Like I said, it's tiring. It's exhausting. It's just, ugh. And I don't know how much more they're going to even let any of us talk before they put the kibosh on us in a fucking heartbeat. So if you're wondering if I'm going to sit there and just rail and scream and holler like I was earlier in the year, it's not fucking changing nothing. So, like to do a little bit more funner things to get some gun reviews and some gear reviews and knife reviews. I've got some cool stuff. Right now I got a 30-06 getting a muzzle brake put on it. Kind of like that 7mm back there. Which ought to be, get that back. Because that sure calmed that fucker down. Obviously we've been doing the motorcycle stuff. I got my motorcycle trailer over there. So the camping stuff, we're just trying to put our mind somewhere else, very locally, because you need to stay away from the major fucking metropolitan areas, even the small ones. Fort Wayne, Indiana's been fucking protesting for the last 3 months. Fucking Fort Wayne, Indiana. I got somebody who lives over there. They're like, fucking dude, they're going nuts. I'm like, fucking Rockford. Think about it. Rockford's not a major metropolitan area. It's a good sized city, but it's not overly huge by any fucking stretch of the meaning. Fucking Quad Cities. Fucking every fucking day for the last 3 fucking months. When you could do Des Moines and, just start naming fucking Omaha, Nebraska. You just start naming small cities. They've been fucking protesting every fucking day for months. So when people are talking about Chicago or, St. Louis, any of these major metropolitan areas, it's not just them. It's everywhere. Now it's starting to really come to the small areas because they're pushing and pushing and pushing themselves to that point. So I don't think it's going to get any better. I don't know how much more worse it's going to get. But it comes November, I think it's going to kick off again. And when it does, it ain't going to be like it was last time. So hopefully everybody's got their shit together. I guess if it fucking gnaws at my insides enough to do some story, cause like I said, I couldn't talk about the little boy getting shot in the face because it's not the first time. First time a young mother was shot, a store owner, delivery driver. These stories are just coming more and more frequently. Every day. Just every day. It's no longer like, oh my God, did you hear about this? This is fucking crazy. No, now it's every day. Every fucking day. Well, you should talk about it. Why? Everybody else is talking about it. I'm not adding anything to it other than my anger and disdain. So, I guess if you guys got something you want to talk about in the fucking comments, man, I'll talk about it. Something you want hear an opinion on, go for it. You know, I haven't even been checking any of that, to be honest. I literally just like, this is too much. I got to prepare myself. I got things I need to get done. And I got fucking people beating the shit out of my phone going, hey, dude, can you go out with us? Can you train with it? Can you help us out? Yeah. You know, to me, that's building alliances. You know? Plus, who the fuck wants these people that had never held a fucking gun before out walking around with a fucking gun? That to me is ludicrous. So that was just something that, you know, I felt compelled to do. That took up a lot of my time. That firearms training is something that it takes up time. And it was like any time that there was one, they tell a handful of people, and they tell, you know, so some of them got a little larger than expected. You know, I could talk about being at the gun range just a couple of weeks ago, helping out 2 black females and a black male. You know, really good people, and even they shake their fucking head. When you get into these conversations, they're like, man, this is crazy. You know. And even the guy that runs the gun range was like, man, that was pretty cool of you to do that. You know. And you just did that because you wanted to. I'm like, yeah, you know, they were having a hard time just fucking loading the fucking thing. So, you know, if you don't show somebody something, fuck, they may be the ones that shoot you by accident. But like I said, I'm just. But I guess we'll leave it there. Like I said, you know, I'll come back every now and again. But I want to do some gun reviews. I got a couple of new ones. You know, some other gear and shit. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. Because right now the fucking world's on fire, and I'm just gonna sit back and watch it fucking burn. Because I ain't sticking my fucking neck out, and I suggest you don't do the same. But until then, let's end that here and see about doing something else. All right, folks. We'll see you next time.